5 years ago, all of the world's countries boldly agreed to enact policies to address antimicrobial resistance, or AMR. Because it threatens to undermine modern medicine, addressing AMR is one of the most important challenges in global health. Despite the importance of addressing AMR and global agreements to act, progress reports suggest that the current global response is inadequate. This means that despite committing to act, states have yet to deliver and comply with their promises. Similar to other areas in global politics, we need to bridge the commitment compliance gap in global health, including in AMR. In other words, we need to find ways to overcome the critical challenge of getting states to fulfill their promises. International relations studies the behavior of states and provides guidance on how to go about addressing the commitment compliance challenge, including a rich theoretical and applied literature. IR theories like realism, liberalism, and constructivism suggest many reasons why states may or may not comply with their commitments under international anarchy. Now, anarchy here doesn't mean chaos. It means that there's no supreme power, no world government to ensure that states will actually do what they say they'll do. Instead, states may face many reasons to do otherwise, ranging from their own selfish interests to a lack of resources, and importantly, each reason implies a different kind of response. As well, there are some cases in other areas of international politics that have been successful in bridging the commitment compliance gap. We look to the experiences in other sectors to find ways to fuse these theories with practical lessons from these experiences in history. After generating 5 hypotheses from IR theory, we investigated the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Kyoto Protocol to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty governing the use of nuclear technology to see how they dealt with the challenge of facilitating compliance and achieving cooperation. Using primary sources like treaty documents and reports, as well as secondary literature including historical and policy studies, we identified features related to ideas, interests, and institutional design that help these agreements achieve compliance. There are many similarities between these challenges that enable us to draw lessons, the most important of which is that they all represent common pool resources. These are goods that no one really owns, but everyone has a responsibility to protect. Things like biological diversity or the climate, and including antimicrobial effectiveness. And by looking to these other sectors, we found that in some way or another, other agreements were able to support countries in complying with what they committed to do. We generated 5 lessons to help bridge the commitment compliance gap in global health politics. First, since states have different priorities and interests, compliance starts by crafting agreements that are able to satisfy a diverse range of interests that states may have, giving them a reason to comply. Second is to craft institutions that are able to enforce compliance, which ultimately raises the cost of non-compliance, making it hard for states to not comply. Third, states need to emphasize building a culture of trust in global health. This can be accomplished through mechanisms for continual social learning, emphasizing norms of cooperation over competition, and focusing on achieving the global collective goal of health for all. Fourth, we also want to support states that are having challenges in meeting their commitments. Sometimes states need financial or administrative assistance. Finally, compliance and cooperation are more likely when states perceive that the agreement is fair. Fairness enables compliance by further signaling to states that by complying with their global health commitments, they are in fact doing the right thing. Additionally, we need to be aware of the trade-offs that might exist among these lessons. Sometimes one can override another. For example, we need to strike a balance between enforcing on one hand, but then also supporting states on the other when they fail to meet their targets. At the Global Strategy Lab, we're interested in uncovering strategies that can inform the way the world responds to and addresses global challenges like AMR. One way that we're doing this is by investigating the potential role that international law, including an AMR treaty, can play in the global response. But as shown in other areas in the past, neither international law nor treaty ensures compliance. Achieving compliance, that critical challenge of getting states to fulfill the promises that they make to improve health around the world, including by addressing AMR, fits as one piece of the puzzle, since global health agreements aimed at addressing global health challenges will only be effective insofar as states comply with them.